Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm glad to be with everybody today, and I'm hoping that you're enjoying your day wherever you are. Danny, how are you doing, buddy?
Crappy, but it doesn't matter. I'm fine. For
Ah,
purposes of this conversation, I'm fine.
okay. Well, life is hard sometimes. I completely understand. So, is it your kids? Are they driving you batty?
My dad died.
I knew that. I didn't
So
know that.
That's
There's that.
that's it.
Jeez, man.
I mean, my kids are nothing right now.
No.
They could be crapping on the walls. I'm like, yeah, that sucks, man. I'll clean that up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it would be tomorrow too. I would just look at it for a day, like cry, just like we have a running joke in my house, and it is based on I think progressive commercials, and it's basically a guy that says he's there to help new homeowners to keep from turning into their parents, right?
Yes, love those commercials.
But they're awesome, right? It's like,
They
oh my
are.
God,
They're
some of the
great.
things I'm like, oh wow, I do that.
I do
I'm
that.
gonna stop doing that.
Oh,
right?
crap. I'm being
like,
called out on a card.
some of them I don't, which is cool. It's like, like throw pillows. The lady's got I don't like pillows at all on my couch. I definitely don't want extra pillows. I mean, non-sleeping use pillows on my bed. It's like, no, this is for sleeping. It's not for decoration. If somebody wants to come in and look at my bed, they're going to see a messy bed because I don't make my bed. I don't. It's comfortable. It's like a nest almost for my wife. And it's like, this is what it needs to be. So we have a running joke about the one for the one guy sitting there, and he goes, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm reading a book about submarines." And he goes, "Who else reads books about submarines?" And the guy responds, "My dad."
My
Yeah,
dad.
your dad. Yeah, right. So I'm sitting there today, and I'm having just a rotten day, right? And so at some point, for whatever reason, something came up about the Korean War. And I don't know enough about the Korean War, basically. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to go sit and fold laundry and watch a documentary on the Korean War. Find one and just put it on. It'll be in the background and whatever. And so I got interested in it, and I quit folding laundry, as happens all the time. And I'm sitting there watching it, and Marnie gets some time off work, and she's coming in to check on me because she knows I'm having a rough day. And she says, "What are you doing?" I went, "Watching a documentary about the Korean War." And she looks at me and she goes, "Who else watches documentaries about the Korean War?" And I went, "Not my dad."
Oh, God.
And it was funny. It was funny. And we laugh, and I'm laughing now, legitimately. It is just hilarious. And because there's a certain amount, I mean, you could call it gallows humor, or you could just say, you just get to a point where you can laugh about things that are awful, so you don't, I don't know, break. Right. But yeah, so that's how I'm doing. I'm fine. Okay. I'm fine. I am vibrating between raging and crying and,
Well, when we have our guest on
is.
later today, you might have to ask him what the acronym for fine is in the military. He can.
Yeah. Man, I don't remember that one. I remember FUBAR and SNEFU and
yeah, I can't remember what
F and G
either. It's been a while.
I remember F and G. Everybody called me the F and G for a long time. Called me Alphabet. Alphabet. I'm like, why are you calling me that? Because we don't even know your name. Oh man, that's just me.
But the fact that you're watching the Korean War, though, I can understand that because I'm a big fan of learning history and especially wartime history. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've always known different things about World War II. I had family that served in it, that kind of thing. But what I didn't know was much about what went on in the Pacific. And like there was a 10 10-part miniseries on HBO that was made about just what went on in the Pacific, and it's narrated by Tom Hanks. And
Oh yeah. Oh, it's called The Pacific.
it's called
right?
Pacific. Yeah.
That's great. That is a great show. I mean, it's
Yeah.
also holy crap.
It is so intense, intense, and they did such justice to the men that served over there, and the women too, as nurses and whatnot that were at that time. But my eyes were opened up to a whole new thing that I did not know even took place. I mean, I knew of Iwo Jima, that kind of Okinawa, all that, but the stuff that happened on the smaller islands, no clue, had no clue. And that was they just did such an awesome job with it. And actually, I was talking with the guys in the Dad Lounge about it, and they actually were like, "Oh, if you like that, then you'd like this." And they sent me down another rabbit hole towards more modern war, like more modern war, I guess you would call it. Like, I think it was from maybe like Desert Storm or even Afghanistan. I'm not sure exactly which. I haven't looked into it too much. I found it and I saved it. I was like, I'll get through the Pacific. Although at the same time, I'm like, I really want to do Band of Brothers before I even do that, because I had put that on there as well. And but yeah, man, I definitely can get sucked into a good war movie or documentary really quick. MASH is always a good one too.
Yeah. Well, and I MASH is old for me. Of course, that was when it was, I guess, I'm hoping it was in reruns. Maybe I watched the original. I don't think so. I can't remember when it came out, but when I was a kid, it was on all the time. And I always liked the humor of it, and the kind of goofiness of it.
And then they had seriousness too in there.
Right. There was always a return to, no, this is actually a war. It was awful.
Yeah.
And you see people, especially the one with, remember the one with Hawkeye when he was on he had basically PTSD from a lady on the bus.
Yes.
Who had a chicken that was making too much noise, and she killed the chicken.
Yes.
Right? Strangled it, smothered it. And it turned out it was actually her baby, because the baby wouldn't stop crying. And so the lady smothered her baby right there in front of him, and it just broke him.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you don't, I mean, I think everybody can go, well, yeah, that happens. But to see that portrayed by such a funny and lighthearted character, right?
Yeah.
Someone, I mean, it's just water off a duck, everything. He can just handle it all. No, he can't.
Yeah.
None of us can, right? And he reached that point that broke him, and that's okay, but just time for him to, okay, so you reached your limit. Now you need to heal up some and be ready to take it on again. And as far as I remember, he did.
Yeah, that show touched on so many different things, and they had so many like cameos from people who became huge movie stars and stuff, but they had them play some very like intense roles in the process of it and stuff. Like so yeah, that show actually is still on doing reruns, and we sit down and watch them with the kids, and they enjoy watching them, and they ask lots of questions, and it's great for them to be able to like see that. Like, I'm so happy that like stuff like that's still on, because a lot of times kids nowadays, like if you showed them that stuff, they think it was something that never happened or whatever. And so, but to be able to have that conversation with them kind of keeps them in the real on things. So definitely happy to that. And then also too, like, so to kind of bring that into like a modern era type of thing, even now, the show Bluey, this most recent season touched on servicemen and women leaving their family for a time, and I love it. It's such
a thing of condensed milk.
Yeah. It's just
like, your father went out for milk. This is the worst thing ever. This is going to be so awful. And, oh no, he comes back at the end. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Because going out for milk, it's the new thing for like, our generation, maybe previous generation, that your dad went out for a pack of cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
If you remember that, well, dad went out and then they never came back, and that was the joke. And now it goes out for milk.
Yeah.
That's what they, I don't know if you're aware of that, but the millennials and Z and Alpha are all, my kids are all making that joke. And man, he goes, yeah, my father's on deployment. He's going to bring me back a tube of sweetened milk or sweetened condensed milk, whatever it was. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be awful. So I didn't mean to just run off on that. But it was really cool watching the little kid play soldier, and it wasn't about let's go shoot everybody. There was a lot more about reconnaissance and, of course there was shooting and I think a chopper or whatever went by, but there was things going on in that were obviously military and firearms and all that, which I'm fine with.
Well, go ahead. Well, even too, like just the idea of how to talk to your kids about it and, how to walk them through this transition of like, they understand like my parents are leaving. Why are they leaving? Like what's going on? And just the way that they explain it, it's so great because no show has really, I feel like, tackled that in a way. Like I don't remember Sesame Street ever tackling anything like that. They've tackled lots of definite intriguing conversations, but I've never.
Bluey's an adult show, man.
Okay, fine.
It's just for kids to watch.
Are we going to? Are we really gonna like? That's where we're gonna go. We're gonna put it out there like that.
It's a show for adults. Come on.
Okay.
Just your kids can watch it too.
All right.
Because everything about that show is being a parent.
It is. It really is. Yeah.
And it's how to be a better parent, like you said, teaching your kids about separation, and people. And not like that 2-year-old separation anxiety thing, but later on when your dad or mom is going to be gone for, 3 months or whatever, especially if we're talking about deployment.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I think we'll be talking about tonight.
We will. I mean, we talked about it last week a little bit with Sergio. So I definitely think that with Grady coming on, we'll definitely be talking more about that as well. For sure.
Who's coming on? Say it for everybody.
Yeah, so Grady Black is going to be our guest tonight, and he's another member of the National At-Home Dad Network's board of directors. And so, we're going to have him on here in a minute. I will say one thing before we go, though. My favorite character on Bluey is Unicourse. Love him. And my son's favorite thing is when he when Unicourse he goes something about they're like Bluey asks Unicourse like, what's your favorite food? And he's like, children. And my son loves to quote that. Well, I don't know. You know how phones are.
Yeah, I want to hear your kids say that to somebody.
Oh, he says it all the time. Like he does. He says it all the time. It's hilarious.
That's perfect.
Hezekiah says it all the time. But what's even funnier is, our phones listen to us all the time. Well, Teespring or whatever it is, which is also the platform that we use for selling our t-shirts and stuff. They have a Unicourse design of that exact like frame where the Unicourse's head's right against Bluey's. and I showed it to him and I was like, what do you think, Hezekiah? Do I need to get this? He's like, yes, you do.
Yeah. Need 2 sizes. One for you and one for him. Absolutely.
No kidding. So yeah. So we'll have Grady Black on here in a minute, and we'll be talking about definitely things that have to do with being a military spouse. And he's also former military himself, and just what life has been like for him over the past few years, because he's done some moving around. So but we'll have him on here in just a moment. Become a member of the National At-Home Dad Network, an organization focused on providing advocacy, community, education, and support, connecting with households where dad is the primary caregiver of the children. We do this through our webinar and podcast series, mental health support groups, regular online social events, as well as our annual convention. The National At-Home Dad Network is a 100% volunteer organization. Without the generous support of its members and the community around it, we would not be able to continue the work that we do. Becoming a member gives you access to past convention speaker presentations, the ability to vote for board members annually, and ensures that the organization's fees and bills are in positive standing. Oh yeah, it should not go unmentioned that there is some cool swag headed your way if you decide to become a member. For only $35 a year, your membership provides you with the exclusive content only we can generate, and you'll be supporting an organization that benefits families all around the country and world by advocating for them, offering them community, providing education and guidance, and supporting them to grow in their parenthood journey. And one last thing, if you contribute $500 or more, you will become a lifetime member. Not only will you receive everything already mentioned, but also a certificate recognizing your status and an exclusive National At-Home Dad Network Challenge coin with our trademark logo, Dads Don't Babysit. So, what are you waiting for? Become a member today. And we're back. So, like we said, we've got a guest on with us today. We are joined by Grady Black, and Grady is a guy who it's been really fun getting to know, because when I first met him, I believe it was actually online, I think was how I met you. And like since then, you have gotten involved with the board and really just become quite like a person who people just like. It's like, oh yeah, Grady, we know who he is. Like lots of people do, which has been really fun. And getting to actually meet you in person last year in Cincinnati was great as well, because that was just a blast getting to run the Bourbon Trail with you. But man, dude, I'm glad that you're able to finally connect with us. You're the last of the board members to hop on and talk with us on the podcast, man. So welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And yeah, sorry I dragged my feet so long to get on the podcast with you guys.
You might have been busy. I don't know.
A little bit.
I mean, yeah. So
probably not.
No, well, maybe. Okay, so most recently, and how old is your daughter? 3?
She'll be 4. She just turned 4 in August, so she'll be 5 in this coming August.
Okay, so that age, 3 to 4, and you and your wife packed up everything, and I don't remember where you were living now, Virginia or Carolinas?
We were in North Carolina. We were stationed out at Fort Bragg.
Right. So you're at Bragg, and they say, okay, time to move again. And you've moved how many times?
Let's 30? See. I'm definitely I'm out of fingers. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
So I can't count on fingers.
Just the thought of it. Let's hop in the car. And then you were so just easygoing about it. You and I were talking about it, and you were like, yeah, we're going to pack up the car, and I'm going to do this, and my wife's going to do this. We take 2 vehicles and we just go. And you've got a 3-year-old. And I'm thinking, holy crap, because you moved to Louisiana, which is a long haul. And you were just like, nah, I've done this a bunch of times. And it was so impressive to me that you were just like, yeah, we know where everything is. We got, I don't know if you saw the same boxes, but we're just ready to everything. We know we're professionals, basically. We do this constantly.
Yeah.
It was very impressive.
Yeah. For my defense on that one, what helped to keep me cool about it was we were taking 2 cars and my daughter wasn't riding in mine.
Hey, there you go.
That was the other genius part. I'm like, oh, huh. I could just see that, because we'd get like, 4 or 5 hours in, and I'm sure my wife would be like, hey, we need to pull over and go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. I'm good. I'll just meet you there.
So you had all that. Yeah. So you had all that time in the car, just you, man. I mean, what were you listening to? What kept you entertained that entire time?
I think anywhere between podcasts, just too many podcasts for me to listen to and keep up with, and audiobooks.
Nice.
Occasionally cool. I throw some tunes to kind of sing along with, but
yeah. What's
your
really,
I love the audiobooks and just have something to kind of engage in, to not take my mind off to take my mind off of all the driving, but at the same time not to make it so mind numbing to where I start falling asleep while driving.
Yeah. What's your music genre of choice?
Very eclectic. I would say I'm more of like definitely an 80s child, that's for sure. So I would say 80s music. I mean, my favorite band be Van Halen, but I also have different favorite bands going through other different decades. Like my favorite overall band, believe it or not, is the Beach Boys.
Nice. Okay.
So I kind of go back that far and just listen to the stuff that I grew up with listening to with my parents, because we weren't really allowed to listen to much of at least what we consider classic rock now is it was brand new back then. So
appalling.
It was
well, appalling one way and depressing another.
It was the devil's it was the devil's music.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The Beach Boys, though, like I have to say that was something that I grew up with as well. Like especially around Christmas time, my mom would pull out the vinyl record of the Beach Boys Christmas album and play that. And
nice.
I can't go through Christmas without playing some Christmas Beach Boys.
Oh yeah. Between that and the Christmas Chipmunks.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs came out in 1963. I had to look it up, make sure, but it was by the Ripcords. And I don't know that they had any famous songs, but they have one called Hey Little Cobra. And it's basically about taking a Cobra down to the racetrack and racing other Corvettes and all these other cars, and how the Cobra just wrecks them, because it did. Yeah. And for whatever reason, we had it on our record, and I played it over and over and over. And it was my cousin's record player and record. And I'm like, no, I want to hear that song again. I want to hear that song. And it's so funny, because when my kids started watching TV shows or listening to the same songs like Frozen or whatever over and over and over, I had a moment of like, oh God, I did this to people. I did this to other people. This is terrible. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to call my cousin and apologize.
This is karma coming back.
It is. It really is. I'm like, I didn't know. It wasn't on purpose. Give me a break.
Be like little Deuce Coupe. And
yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. The Beach Boys sing Schlockrod. I can't remember who sang that. I should look that up. Yeah, obviously looks on your face like, no, we've never heard of that song before.
I don't think so. I think, well, they did 409.
They did 409. Yep. Yeah, 409.
Not the 409, the cleaning product, but
Jan and Dean.
Yeah.
Do you remember Jan and Dean?
Oh yeah, Dead Man's Curve.
Yeah, bingo. Their album, and I'm looking at it because I don't remember any of these things, Drag City, had Schlockrod on it, and it had Dead Man's Curve, which was, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't know, Brock, if you remember, but Grady, since you remembered it, that was chilling for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because did dude die, or did somebody run off the Dead Man's Curve and die? You know, and it was really it was chilling every time. Even now, I kind of remember like, yeah, I'm sure if I listened to it.
Jan did almost die on Dead Man's Curve as well.
Really? Oh.
Yes.
Eek.
Wow.
Yeah. That's tough. That's tough. That just gets you. But Schlockrod is a dumb little, basically we built a hot rod out of like Frankenstein to hot rod together.
Yeah, it's like a rat rod, basically.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, a rat rod. It's a rat rod.
Be like what Kyle Thompson has.
Yeah, which is awesome to ride in. Oh, do you guys not know that? No,
I've yet to get to do that. I didn't get to do that when I was
odd.
Jerk, you jerk.
Wonder who the favorite is.
Well, that's non-Wisconsinites.
Yeah, no kidding. It helps that you look like you could be his twin brother. I mean,
yeah, except
maybe a little bit
taller
older
and fatter and uglier, but sure. Yeah. It's the hair. We both have mohawks.
I said older.
I don't have to say older, you jerks.
I said it. I'll be the jerk.
It's just me, man.
Well, hey Grady, so we got you on the show, man, to talk a little bit too about how you got connected with the network and how that transpired into you actually getting on the board. So kind of want to step away from our conversation of cars and music, which I sadly walk away from because it is such a great conversation. But how did you end up getting connected with the org? And like, let's just start there and we'll move into other things. But like, how did that happen?
Okay. Well, originally, before I was even connected with the org, I was a freshly retired stay-at-home dad, still living out in Germany with my wife while she was stationed with us out there, or she had a station out there.
And you were in which service again?
I was in the Air Force. My wife is in the Army.
Okay.
And I got connected with a group of male dependents out in Germany called the Dependabros. And it was basically a bunch of like male dependents. Yeah, by all means, laugh at it because.
Oh my gosh, sorry.
I'm not laughing. I'm just.
I am. That's a great name.
Yeah,
that sits right. That hits right where I think it would. That tracks really.
Yes.
But go ahead. Sorry.
But it was essentially dependents of female or male service members, or like your spouse or partner, And we would just get together, and number one, we'd meet for breakfast. So once a week, usually at whatever American restaurant that was out there on one of the different bases. And got with them and got to be really, really close with some of the guys. Like we ended up doing a few things outside of that particular meeting. And then I had to move back to the States. And I was just trying to find other different kinds of groups, and even trying to figure out, I was like, all right, I know where we're going next, because we were moving to Texas after Germany. And when I did that, it's like, I was like, all right, do I have to form my own group or whatever? It's like, all right, let me just go ahead and do a search. And I found something for National At Home Dad Network. It's like, okay, let me get a hold of being on this. And this was in early to mid 2019.
Okay.
So we got back to the States, got him onto the network, at least as far as the Facebook group goes and everything. And I don't think we had the Dad Lounge set up as of yet. So I think that was a product of the pandemic.
Yeah, the Dad Lounge was definitely a product of the pandemic, so it would have been after that.
And ended up getting kind of locked down where we were that following March in 2020. And still kind of just being along with the organization, everything's like, all right, let me see what kind of help and what kind of tips and tricks and stuff that I can get from these guys as far as being a stay-at-home dad. And then started talking about doing the DadCon at home, which was, I believe, Minneapolis.
No, DadCon at home was the
virtual.
The virtual.
That was the, I mean, that was the same. That was the virtual.
Yeah.
That was after Minneapolis.
After Minneapolis, yeah.
And I was hesitant to do that one because, like, I wasn't sure it's like anything kind of being like a Zoom call. Zoom was kind of like a new thing. It's like, all right.
Right.
Didn't want to fall into too much mainstream because I'm kind of like a crossbred mainstream / hipster. And didn't go to the virtual DadCon, but then I started seeing on the networks like, all right, Dad Lounge, let's see what that's all about. So I go into my first Dad Lounge. I want to say it was maybe May of 2020, like just before we were getting to move to North Carolina finally. And I get on the first Dad Lounge, and there was a whole bunch of people on there, and everybody kind of swarmed on me. They're like, "Hey, it's a new guy,
fresh meat."
So new guy being fresh meat. I kind of get what felt like almost like an interrogation at first. And the first person to hit me up with the questions was Charlie. So I start getting all the questions like, oh, how long you been a stay-at-home dad? What do you do? What's your background and everything? And just kind of got the whole spiel of everything, just kind of fell in. And just that feeling that I got, number one, it got rid of the isolation of being a stay-at-home dad and just felt so welcoming.
Mm.
It was just so welcoming. Everybody just kind of took me. It's like, oh, there's a new guy. I was like, okay, he might fit the cut. He might make the cut for all the other stay-at-home dads. So let's go ahead and keep him around for a little bit and see how it turns out with him. And didn't end up getting onto the board or even mentioning to the board almost about a year ago when because we had the 2 spots that were open, and Danny first approached me and he's like, hey, would you be interested in taking up a spot on the board? I'm like, yeah, I'd go ahead and consider it. And fast forward a little bit more to, I want to say it was probably the week before or the week of the retreat is when I got voted on.
Yep.
And with it being so close to the retreat, obviously you guys couldn't necessarily get me out there for it, but I did end up getting the call with the whole board that everybody was out there in Virginia.
Mm-hmm. And
so fast forward to even now, it's like, all right, I'm been on the board for less than a year already.
Yep, and it's coming quick.
So you were not voted on the board. You were asked to come on to fill.
I wasn't voted by the network. I was voted by the board to come on the board.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Which happens because typically it involves people having to step away, and we need people. And I know particularly like you were very vocal and very like just willing to talk to people and get involved with the things that were going on in the organization. So you stood out amongst, the others that are there. And I just wanted to say that because like I think a lot of times people are like, well, how did that happen? It's like, well, like if you put yourself out there, that's what pays.
And Grady, you were already, I'd asked you to be a part of the admin team.
Right. I ended up being a moderator.
Yep. You got in on that and really helped a lot because we had so many new members coming in. We just couldn't keep up with it and really needed somebody really just to, if that was all you had done, just get join requests and filter that out for us, that would have been enough. But then also, I mean, there's a certain willingness that you have that we look for in, of course, as a volunteer organization, we need people that are willing to help and are kind of willing to do whatever needs to be done and do it willingly. Because there's a lot of stuff that we do that I mean, we try to pick the guy that's best for the job because you want him to do that job with joy. I want to keep doing this, or you want them to do it regularly, and they'll keep up with it if they're good at it or if they enjoy it, right? And that's just all links together. And you really worked out well, I think, on the admin team, and you still do. And I think we need to point that out too, because it didn't just go from, hey, I was hanging out with the Dad Lounge and the guys know my name and I was real friendly, and so they put me on the board. It was a lot more involved in your volunteering for the organization that really preceded all of that up to the point where, I mean, I went to bat for you. To be on the board. That I
really appreciate. I think I just was able to give like more of the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah. Well, I don't want anybody to think, oh, so if I know Brock, then I can get on the board.
No,
not really. Brock knows a lot of people. Yeah.
I had hardly known anybody. And I mean, I had almost considered putting my name in the hat for going up for the board for the Cincinnati Dad Comics. Like, nah, still kind of getting my feet wet with the network here. And
yeah.
It's kind of worked itself into it with being a moderator, like you said, and then,
which is a very taxing job in itself, honestly, because
pain in the butt.
It's like some days are quiet, other days are complete hell with what's coming through and people that decide
like
to poke
6-8 people at a time. It's like no, can we? Oh, come on, can't you guys spread this out one a day or something?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good job though, and I'm glad you're doing it. And I will say too, getting into what you've done on the board so far, you were a great choice. And I don't think anybody could dispute that. I don't think anybody would even consider it. It's absolutely, absolutely great. It should be on the board. This is where we need him.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then you made some changes to the board, to the organization, or a change.
I didn't expect to. It just almost one of those things that kind of popped into my head. It's like, hey, I mean, I have a background with working with acronyms.
Mm-hmm. which speaking of, before you get into the acronym we're going to discuss. So Danny, before you got on the call, said that he was feeling fine. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure Grady knows what that acronym stands for.
Oh yeah. Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and forget what the E was again.
Oh, I don't even remember.
Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Emotional. I guess if you need an E word, that one will work.
That one works. Oh shoot. But anyway, so we were discussing that a little bit before you came on. So, but yeah, you definitely have added to the acronym for our pillars for the organization, because up until just recently, it stood for ACEs, which was, the advocacy, community, education, and support. And I really like what you added to it. So I'm going to let you take it and kind of give us a little spiel on how that all came about.
Just thinking about it, whenever we happen to have something come up, whether it's, somebody's not able to attend one of the board meetings because I've got an event for one of my kids, or I'm down sick, or we're taking a family vacation, it does not fail for one of us to mention to the other, it's like, that's okay. We understand. Family comes first. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, hey, light bulb comes on, trying to get us in my hand. And I say, brilliant. Let's go ahead and see what we can throw out there with throwing this F out there. So that's essentially where the F comes out to be the faces of stay-at-home dads. It's like, all right, the F stands for family because it's the first letter in the acronym, and family comes first.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
A stroke of genius.
I know it can sound kind of cliche a little bit, but it almost seems like it should have been there from the beginning.
It's a little goofy, but I think that's appropriate for you having no.
If that's the case, then it's not goofy enough.
Not goofy enough. No, but it was great. And you mentioned, it was just like a simple thing, or it was just like a moment. And that's what I feel a lot of time true change and genius comes from, is that moment where you're thinking, well, why don't we do it this way? And I will tell you the number of times when someone has said that on the board, because again, we're all volunteers, we're all trying to figure it out as we go along. Someone will say something and I hear a collective head smack, just, oh my, why didn't we think of it? Why weren't we doing this, years ago?
And that's the importance of doing it as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Definitely. Well, I really like it too. Honestly, I think it's one of those, I don't know, like it fits so well. And then also too, like I'm excited to see some new merch with that on there as well.
There you go.
And just to give a little peek behind the curtain for anybody that listens, like there is some new merch coming out with that acronym on there, and with our new logo. So just gotta get the proofs in and make sure everything's gonna print properly, and then we can actually launch that out to everyone. So that'll be exciting as well, because it's always nice to have new merch.
Of course.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff coming too, and we can't talk about it.
I know.
We gotta somehow spend that hard-earned allowance.
Yep.
My hope is everything is good to go, and for the February newsletter, it'll all be in there for everybody to find, because that would be super, super cool personally to be able to get that out. So there's been a lot of work on it. So yeah, I'm excited for that. So you got some Lego creations back here behind you. I know you've been working on one masterful piece of Lego set recently. How many pieces, or how many Legos sets have you worked on in the past here recently, or recently?
As far as overall sets, I mean, it could range from like maybe 3 or 4 dozen pieces, being just that small, but just like little Star Wars sets and little mini kits and stuff like that, to this behemoth behind me and
powering behind you.
Yeah, it kind of needs no introduction. But that was my
for those who can't see it, what is it?
That would be the Eiffel Tower. That is my wife got for me for my birthday / Christmas present.
How tall is it? Is it 5 feet tall or something? The thing looks huge.
It goes to over 5 feet, just barely over 5 feet.
Oh my gosh, that's huge. How many hours did it take to put that together?
No kidding. It didn't take as long as I anticipated doing it, because I was really trying to drag it out. I got it the first week of December, and
quick.
And I think I started putting it together maybe a week later, but I would just do like an hour here or a few hours every night, late at night before I go to bed, just to kind of calm myself down from the day. And even taking like a week or 2 off during the holidays, I had other stuff that I had to do.
Yeah.
It just, it really didn't seem like it took much effort.
Really?
To do it. But as far as how many hours goes, I would say anywhere between 20 and 30 just actual man hours to do it.
Wow. That's wild. And here's the thing too, like, I mean, you are an active military family.
Yes.
Your wife is active Army, and like, so there's still a chance that you could move to another base at some point. What do you do with those Lego sets?
I think that's the fun part about it. They can stay new to me, because once we're getting ready to move, so a few months out, all these big sets, especially the 2 that are right behind me, I'll start disassembling them, rebag them, put them into storage boxes, and they can become new to me, and I can put them together again once we get to our next home.
Wow.
Very organized.
For some people like me, that's a lot of anxiety. I'm like, what? Like, tear that apart like that? I'll be like, oh my God.
I mean, it's just it goes back to like reverse bagging it for a lot of different guys that are in like Lego groups and stuff like that. It's like that's one of the keys is like making sure that you know the order of the instructions that are telling you to put it together. It makes it that much easier to do it again. Well, I've had to do it several times with many different kits. It's like, okay, I've got no problem doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
But
sweet.
overall kits that I've got, I probably have maybe I can give a conservative estimate and say about 2 dozen,
Oh, wow.
maybe closer to 3 dozen, but nothing near all of them being this big. This is the
Yeah.
biggest one. It's right around. Actually, I think it's just over 10,000 pieces for this tower.
Holy
Now, do you
crap.
do you put them all together when you get to a new location, or are they some of them still in like boxes? You're like, nah, I'm not going to deal with that one right now. I just want to display these ones. Like, what's that like?
Some of them are in boxes, and some of them kind of been scattered over the years to where I've actually lost a few pieces, and I'm actually in the process of getting that particular box out to go through it. And it's like, okay, what piece am I missing for this kit? And I can try to order it and eventually sell it to somebody.
Yeah, or go to the Lego store and find like the now that you
Oh,
can
you
buy
can
like
just order it right
individual
off the
pieces.
website.
Oh, okay. Well, that's convenient too.
Yeah.
Stores. Psh, that's
Yeah.
so
What's a
2019,
store?
right?
Not going to the mall, man. Come on.
Yeah,
Malls are
right.
dead.
Well,
You know, a
malls are
mall
for
would be
power
a bright,
walkers.
shining spot where I'm living right now.
That's true.
That is true. Yeah, I would say,
You
and
were in the middle of nowhere. I
Maybe
looked it
about a
up.
few miles west of the middle of nowhere, but
Yeah.
but you've been able to connect with some other at-home dads and stuff at the base, right?
there's one actually that lives in the cul-de-sac that I'm living in right now, but he had also recently started a job and just at a previous basis, I was able to connect with other stay-at-home dads as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, this neighborhood that I've got, as much as the area is not the greatest, this neighborhood's been tremendous. Just coming together, everybody's got small young kids right around my daughter's age, so
Oh,
it's
awesome.
playing outside all the time,
Yeah.
weather permitting.
That's cool. So,
And everybody just kind of comes together. We'll hang out in a different person's carport, maybe once or twice a week on the weekends to go out there, maybe get the fire pit going, have a few drinks.
Mm-hmm.
that is awesome. So also too, with your being on the board, you recently took over a major position from someone who actually stepped away from the board because they finished their time up, and now you're overseeing the finances for the organization.
Yeah, I'm I'm a little cringe about that one too. It's like, all right, I haven't even been on the board for a year, and now it's like you want me to be the treasurer? It's like, come on, guys.
I just really, from my heart, Grady, deep down, I just want to say, ha ha.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it
Thanks,
was
Nelson.
hands down across the board. The one thing you don't want me doing, and the one thing that I would refuse to do is try to be treasurer. I
Yeah.
just don't have the skills, the organization, I just don't. Money just, I would spend everything, and we would like, why do we have 17 Matchbox cars? Well, you guys were talking about it. I don't know. It would be rotten. It would be awful. So I am glad you're doing it because you are actually very organized and you likely have that same organization skill set to take to, like, I don't know, Excel documents, whatever you do budgets on. I don't know.
Truth be told, it's like I'm not even really doing the budget. It's just a matter of so far just keeping track of how the money's being spent and helping to categorize it with the different companies that we're using to help us keep track of the money.
Mm-hmm.
Which honestly, that is a very important job because in years past, like that has not been done well. And only over the past like 5 years has everything finally like sifted out and gotten to a point where we all get where everything could be seen and understood and stuff. And
Right.
Your predecessor Ed had honestly done a tremendous job with it, and so I'm very happy that he had it and he was able to hand it on to you. And the nice part is that, he's a guy that you can always go back to ask questions, which is a super resource.
Absolutely. And it's great because, I mean, the job that he did with it, it's like, I know I've got some big shoes to fill.
Yeah. Ed's the man. He really is in so many ways, many ways. But yeah. But at the same time, I do sincerely think you've got this. This is something, they do say no pressure, that the most important position on the executive board of directors, especially with nonprofits, is the treasurer.
Yeah.
No pressure. No, it's fine. You got this. You got this.
Now, trust me, I'm definitely not used to dealing with pressure, with my previous career being an air traffic controller.
Yeah, right. You never had any pressure. Psh, you're fine.
What's that?
You slept through your shifts. I know you did. Come on.
Oh, come on. You talking about pressure? I'm like an Instapot.
Yeah. I can't imagine doing that job. I mean, I'm sure, like with anything, if you get trained for it, you do get experience with it. And as you do it, you can take on more responsibilities. But at your peak, I look at what the probability are of what you were doing every day. I think I'd break. I just there's too many. Who's going where? Where's that plane coming? Why is there? I would lose it.
Oh, that was the one thing I loved about being out in Phoenix and going out to dinner with Grady, because we ended up meeting up with Daniel Wilkinson and and just, I forget what his buddy's name was, but that was with him too. But just sitting down, having pizza and enjoying conversation and listening to those two go back and forth, talking about air traffic control type stuff, because Daniel's is a pilot. And so, it was cool to hear this guy who's he's a stay-at-home dad. He lives on this ranch in Texas, and, they fly around to different places, and he's talking about his experience. And Grady's like, oh, I understand that.
Yeah. You're speaking my language now.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was a very entertaining evening listening to those two go back and forth.
Yeah. Especially some of the stuff we get into. It's just like, all right, are these guys even speaking English anymore?
That's what I was thinking, Brock. Were you actually able to keep track through all the acronyms that I know acronyms came into play immediately? Oh, do you have a 194? I sure did, but not in a 476. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I was able to keep up for the most part. There were points where I was like, I don't know what they're talking about, but I was able for the most part.
But they were enjoying themselves. That's what counts.
Exactly.
And with that, it's like, all right, we know our audience here. So it's just like, all right, as much as I get sick of hearing my wife occasionally talking too much, throwing out some shop talk, it's like, all right, got to put up with it a little bit. So like me being able to do it again, especially after it's been 4 years since I've been able to do it.
Yeah.
Kind of brought back some good memories.
And that's the thing that I love about going to Home Dad Con, because you get to have that ability to have that conversation where maybe you wouldn't have been able to in a different situation back home or whatever. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So what's on the horizon for you, man? Everything's going on with the organ stuff, but I know that you've been talking about some different things for this year, both in the org and out of the org. What kind of things you got planned for this year?
Well, we've got the retreat obviously coming up real soon. Other travel, the con itself, coming at the end of the summer, and trying to do some trips coming up. I know my wife and I are going down to San Antonio for the next long weekend coming up in February.
I love San Antonio.
Down to the San Antonio Rodeo.
Oh, cool!
Nice.
And, stock show. We're going to go see some old friends that are out there as well.
Nice.
And check on our rental house that we.
I was going to say, don't you have a property there in San Antonio?
Yeah, we do.
That's awesome.
Cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, because the year that we were down there, we would decide as like, all right, we were going to buy a house down there just for the sake of actually making it a rental property, or rental/investment property.
Nice.
And we'll go down and see that come February. And then after that, we'll have the retreat in March. And my wife and I are kind of in the initial stages of planning our 10-year anniversary coming up in towards the end of June.
Nice. Congratulations,
man. We're going to take a trip. Thank you.
Yeah.
But in the meantime with that, and I think I know what you were alluding to, Brock, is I was in the initial stages of talking about trying to do a father-daughter road trip this summer.
Yeah.
And basically coming up from where we're at in Louisiana to go up the Midwest, just go straight up north, take a stop over to see Brock and the family, let the kids play together, and
Yay.
let the big kids play together too.
Yeah.
And then kind of scurry over to the west a little bit. I've got some friends that live out in Indiana.
Nice.
Maybe take a day or so to go see them. And then make my way up to Wisconsin to see some of the dad friends up there.
Epic.
You get over in Indiana, you're going to have to stop and try to find yourself some 450 North beer.
Hey, just give me the list of what I need to look out for, and I will definitely put that on the GPS.
Yeah, I will definitely. And I'll get you hooked up with some of the stuff from my brewery as well.
Yeah. But I figure hit up the guys up in Wisconsin, go see some of them.
Yeah.
Danny's interested. I definitely hop out there to see
Absolutely
the fam there.
I mean, you maybe want to come all the way out here, but I might also say if you're going to like Madison or Milwaukee, because there's more dads there, more concentrated, I'd be happy to drive out there. It's only 2-3 hours. So,
okay. Yeah, definitely something to put into the works as far
but
as planning goes.
You can come out in the middle of nowhere. I can show you the
I
Fleet
already live
Farm.
out in the middle of nowhere.
I was gonna say.
Have to me.
You don't have a Fleet Farm.
What?
We have a Fleet Farm. A Fleet Farm. Yeah, right there. So, because if you don't live up here, you don't know what that is. And I didn't either. It is a store. And it has
we
everything.
talked about a Fleet Farm. Yeah, I remember talking about that.
Everything. We just have flea markets.
Yeah. Yeah. Fleet is
it's almost like is it like tractors? It's almost like Tractor Supply in a way.
Tractor Supply and maybe a high quality outdoor clothing store and an REI, and I don't know where they'd get all their firearms, what store that'd be, but yeah, and they are just I told my wife, and my father-in-law told me this would happen. I said, I don't think I need to shop anywhere else except for groceries. Because Fleet Farm's got everything. I mean, it has from birthday cards to decorations to tractor parts. I mean, literal things that you can. Well, I need to re-weld my tractor because the rear axle snapped a rod on the whatever. Yeah, okay. Here's another one. Poop. You're just gonna have to cut it to size. Oh, I can't do that. Well, here's a machine that'll cut it to size. Oh, I need to weld it. Here's a welder. I mean, they've got everything. Dang. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Very nice. Don't have quite that here, but we've got anything that we would have here would be a scaled down version of something that's anywhere else.
Yeah. Wait, you've got Jimmy Bob Joe down there with his barn full of whatchamacallits, right? Like that's what you got.
Kind of.
Is there a movie theater?
There is a movie theater, believe it or not. So it's even bigger than some other military towns that I've lived in.
More than one theater? More than one screen?
I think it's a 2-screener.
Yay! There you go. Yeah, you're moving up, man. You got this. Yeah. Choice of 2 different movies. That's amazing.
Yeah, what he doesn't tell you though is that's just 2 different sheds on either side of the alley with big old king size sheets hanging off of them.
not far from it. Not far from it. But with the road trip continuing on, it's like I'm going to head over and further west and go see Charlie as well.
Oh, good. Yes.
Get out to Sioux Falls.
There you go. You definitely got to go see the submarine memorial that's there. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And the main reason to go out to see Charlie is kind of like for selfish reasons. He said he wasn't going to, he would finally break open that bottle of 15-year Whistle Pig.
Yeah.
If I went up there to visit him. So it's like, done. I'll go. Well, I won't say done like it's that simple, but it's like I can make it happen.
Committed. Yeah. Let's go.
By the way, I talked about that with a bunch of other guys. I hope you don't mind the caravan that's come behind me to help you finish that bottle off.
There you go.
I was just thinking, I haven't been out to see Charlie.
Yeah, you're right there.
He's pretty close. It's just a couple states away. I mean,
yeah.
Uh-oh, Charlie. Better be careful, man.
Seeing some of the stuff in between. It's not just seeing Dad. It's like we'll do a road trip and see some of the different things.
Heck yeah.
and then eventually we'll make our way south. Maybe I can try to hook up with some of the Kansas City dads, and then eventually make my way
Hey,
over to
you know
St.
what?
Louis and see Jeremy Haston.
When you come through Cincinnati, I will make sure to send you with a box of Kleenex for all the KC dads.
Oh yeah,
Because they're gonna need it after this weekend.
oh yeah.
Sorry, I had to get that in.
We're talking sport ball there, Danny.
Oh no, I get it. I was back. I was waiting for you to finish it up. Sort it out, count your goals or whatever you do, and
yeah.
I'm probably going to go see Jeremy Haston soon.
Yeah,
because of his dad and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say you two probably need to hug.
On,
I say you two both probably need to hug it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm his big brother. I gotta take care of him.
That's it.
Set something on fire in his yard, and
Oh well, that's what he's got neighbors for.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Oh my god!
Hey, my house is on fire. Sorry, man, I fell asleep. What?
Yeah.
You set a fire in your yard and then fell asleep.
See, this is the kind of stuff you got to
fire by falling asleep. What's up with that?
Right.
This is the kind of stuff that guys need to be on the dad lounge for to understand that little bit of piece of thing. Because that was a great story from Jeremy.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh shoot! So you're gonna go down through KC, and are you stopping in St. Louis to see Jeremy as well? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's the plan, to see him there, and then eventually make my way back down here to get back home. Hopefully before, at a bare minimum, before Father's Eve. Or
okay. So how many days are you looking to be on the road?
That part I haven't ironed out the details for yet.
Okay.
I at least have
a while.
I have a rudimentary roadmap for it.
Yeah.
Now it's a matter of figuring out the places I'm going to see along the way, along with the people I'm going to see along the way.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds like a blast, man. I mean, really, it does sound like a great time, great bunch of memories.
I think it'll be fun. I'll have some fun with her. I mean, it's going to be a bonding thing with my daughter and I, which I already have plenty enough time to do that as well.
I was gonna say, be wary of the fact that your wife might be a little bit jealous of the amount of time that the two of you are going to get to spend together.
I'd say jealous to a degree, but at the same time, she's going to have some time to come home to some quiet.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, we all get that one.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yes.
No, that's cool though. I mean, like I said, it just sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it, because when you told me about it, I was like, oh my gosh, like this will be so much fun. And Corey was like, yeah, totally. Like we got space. Like that'll be a great time to get you in here and just let the kids hang out. Corey gets to hang out and finally gets to like actually meet you in person. So
yeah, that's gonna be a blast. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Definitely.
And I think as much as I've talked it up so far, it's like now I can't really back out of it. Now I got
committed.
Yeah, I'm kind of pot committed on this one.
Well, that's good for you.
And the nice part is too, is I mean, going and seeing certain places that have dads that are friends of yours, like, it's like if they got the ability, you get to crash at their place, save yourself some money on lodging or whatever. But at the same time, like you don't have to worry about transferring.
That part will help.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily planning to count on that, but at the same time, that will help a ton.
Yeah. I'm always up for, honestly, like anytime I hear somebody's like, oh, I'm coming over that way, I'm like, hey, you need a place to crash. Like I got room, like always, open to being hospitable to people that it's like, hey, we get to hang out. Like I'm being a little greedy, so I'll take it.
Exactly. And I'm also hoping that some of the snow up north is going to have melted by then.
Yeah. Well, when did you say? You said like
North Dakota,
end of May.
Yeah, it's looking around the end of May at the very earliest.
You should be fine over here for not having to deal with snow. It's not until you get out further west that you start still seeing snow that time of year.
I don't have any proof that the snow ever melts completely in North Dakota.
Yeah,
I just want to make that clear.
Fair point.
It's rough. It's rough, but I'm sure in a couple of weeks of the year they're beautiful.
Yeah. Or at least one or two. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Yeah. So with all of that and everything, you're talking about just being around your kid all the time, and all of us dads we spend lots of time with our kids. Like, how do you find a way to also like have self-care for yourself during all that going on?
Well, with my daughter, she's in preschool now. So with that, it gives me a lot more time for self-care, and I've made that a huge priority.
Nice.
Huge priority. So it's a matter of taking my dog out for a walk almost daily, and especially getting him off leash. He's a big old 100-pound dog, so he loves to just run off and get off leash. And he kind of keeps his boundaries and knows how close to stay to me and how far away he can stray. And working out, trying to keep some good cardiovascular, and you throw in a good bit of reading, some meditation, and a lot of stuff is with me. I suffer from chronic back pain, so massage is very important to me as well.
Nice.
So I'll go at least about once a week, go get myself a massage, kind of pamper myself, so to speak. But it's more important to therapeutic wise than it is for pampering myself.
Yeah, it sounds like a very healthy list of self-care. Honestly,
yeah. Now, if I can only just eat healthier, that's the key thing to actually losing a little bit of weight.
Yeah, abs are made in the kitchen, right?
Yes.
Come on, man. You know a good cheeseburger is good. Yeah.
It's mental health food.
Have
it's
one of those
mental
today.
Health food.
So.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. My wife, Barney, was like, hey, we got a restaurant in town called The Big Garlic, and they make basically garlic burgers, and they make seasoned steak fries that go with them. And my mouth's watering. It's
oh my gosh.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she comes up to me today. I'm having a bad day. And she said, yeah, would you want me to order you some food? And I can't do that. It's so hard for me to ask for her to order me food. It just feels terrible and selfish, and I don't want to do it. And she said, yeah, don't answer that. And then she went and ordered, cheeseburgers and fries. And I said, oh my God, this is amazing. Thank you. And she said, yeah, I know you can't ask for it, but you obviously needed a cheeseburger. I hate it that my life is so easily defined by, oh yeah, cheeseburger will make me happy. But
yeah,
hard to argue with a good cheeseburger.
Hey, never underestimate the power of predictability.
Hey,
very true.
If your wife knows you, she knows you.
She does.
That's how that is, man.
She does.
Figure it out.
Well, hey, before we let you go, I know that you love to tell dad jokes.
Oh, absolutely.
You usually always have them in your back pocket, ready to go. So hit us with some dad jokes, man, because I love it when you do this.
Okay, well, I've got two of them for you. One of them is one that you can tell the kids and they could actually tell at school.
Okay.
One of them is more dad centric, I would think, just like very, very, oh God. And I do have a dirty one if I'd be able to tell that one. So.
Yeah, buddy, bring it.
All right, so we'll go with the first one. What do you call a one-legged hippo?
Danny's. I love watching Danny with these. What do you call a one-legged hippo?
A hoppo.
I love that joke.
Oh my gosh, that's a
good
one.
I'm not going to answer them. Never going to. It's because it needs to be the person telling the joke delivers the punchline. Yes. But I'm sitting there going, "Oh my
god!" Oh, that's funny.
I want to say
anyway.
Our famous hippo here in Cincinnati just celebrated its 6th birthdays.
No,
there you go.
Most vicious predator on the earth. But yeah, wonderful, cute as well. Worse than sharks by far. Oh my god. But anyway, second joke.
All right. So the second joke, well, it was going to be about time travel, but you guys didn't like it.
Well done, sir. Well done.
All right. That's a good one. So
and to close them out, this one will be my foul language dirty joke. When does a joke become a dad joke?
Well, I think I know the answer to this, but if it's a dirty portion, I have no idea.
I don't know a dirty answer. No.
When it's funny as a motherfucker.
All right. All right. Yep.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Well done, Grady. As usual, as expected.
I hope I didn't disappoint.
No,
not at all.
You hit the mark. Well done. Well, honestly, this has been a great time. I hope that anybody who hadn't gotten the chance to know a little bit about you now knows more about you. I know for a fact that, getting together with you and having bourbon or a beer is definitely a great way to sit down and hang out with you as well. So that's the one thing I'm looking forward to in Milwaukee, both for the retreat and for the convention itself. So I think that just being able to get together with other dads is just the highlight of my year. And I know Danny's the same way, honestly, just being able to do that. So
easily.
So yeah, I mean, and this, this whole series has actually been a lot of fun. I mean, this was Danny's brainchild to bring this to light and go after it. And it's been fun getting to just highlight all the guys and giving them a chance to be on here. So thanks for taking time to be on the show. And we will be coming back next week with I don't know if it'll be a guest or if it'll just be Danny and I, but we'll definitely have conversation to talk about. So until next time, have a great week, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.